Good afternoon, Thung. Thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity to talk to you one-on-one and then sharing yours and Gilong's successful 40 years of marriage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As we're creating this video, Anse and I learned more about Hangi and we didn't know before. So one of the surprising things that we had discovered was that you and Gilong got engaged and married within a very short period of time. It was on November 27, 1982, Thanksgiving weekend, when you both were engaged, and about a week before Christmas, which is around December the 18th, you both were married. Would you please share some details about the whole process behind the quick turnaround?
Okay. So we can talk about how we met later on, but as far as the summer of 1982, we already knew and committed to each other that we would be married. And we wanted the engagement party during the Thanksgiving season as a way to say thanks to the relationship, thanks to the family, and then wanted to have the wedding occur during Christmas time because it's the happy seasons, the blessing seasons, and we want to receive the blessings for the marriage. Now, we could have waited another year for the following Christmas, but then it would be too long for us. So we just decided, since we already know what we wanted, so we're going to have the engagement party at Thanksgiving and then the wedding at the following Christmas.
Oh, okay, great. At the time that you were married, how old were you and then how old was Gilong?
Yeah, so at the time we married, well, I'm almost 7 years older than Siwan. So she was turned 20, so I'm roughly 27 years old then. Quite a bit of difference at that age, right?
Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons why I asked you that, because you both were married she was married at a very young age and so were you. And I know for a fact that during your parents' generation, the compatibility of the zodiac animals is really important. In fact, the male monkey married to a woman tiger is not an ideal match. They didn't think that you guys would last for no more than a year. So despite these things that are against you, your marriage still lasted for 40 years and still goes strong. Please share some of the secrets that you both have been together for almost a century.
Well, as you mentioned, there's significant differences between the two of us, from the age difference to the fact that I'm from the northern regions of Vietnam, she's from the south. I was Catholic, she's Muslim. The family cultures could not have been more different between the two of us. And also, if you look back at astrologies and signs, from Western to Eastern, we are just completely opposite. But it's not something that we pay attention to, nor that we let it be a hindrance to us. We put it aside and continue with our relationship the way we want to see it.
So let's just go back a little bit when you guys were in college. Describe how you met Gilong and what was your first impression of her?
Okay. So it was during my last year of college in the fall of 1979, and I think that's Silvan's first came to UT also, it's 1979. And I was having a meeting with the Vietnamese Student Association members in one of the classrooms, and Silvan came in while the meeting is in progress, sat in the front. And she just sort of stood out from others because she's really different. And then when we had a break, she got up, left the room, turned out the light and closed the door. And that was kind of, to me, what just happened here? A little surprise to me. And that was the first time we met. And we met subsequently a couple of times on campus, just passing by. And then I graduated in May of 1980. and left for work. Came back later on, I think in the spring of the following year of '81. Went to a party with, college friends, and Suran was there. And so we got to talk. I offered, knowing that she's from Austin, I offered to say, well, when you get back to Austin, call me up, I'll take you out the town, and that's how our relationship got started.
Got it. So you guys didn't really date during the time since that was your last year, you guys
Right.
didn't really date at all, you just met up again? Okay.
Correct. We did not date until I think toward the end of 1981.
I see. So I know that when you brought her home, that you had met during that time, what did your family think of her, like your brothers and your sisters and then your parents? What did they think of Geelong?
Well, it's a good thing that most of my younger brothers and sisters already know of the friend of Zilan in college, so it was not a problem on any of that. My mom was a little bit hesitant because Zilan is not like a traditional, or not traditional, maybe a typical Vietnamese girl, and she's wondering, how is Zilan's going to fit in with the family. But that's the extent of the, any concern or pushback, if you will, from the family.
Okay. They say that opposite attracts. What are some of the things that you both have in common? And then what are some things that you guys are totally opposites?
So, one of the things that kind of kept us together is that we are committed to what I think is the fundamental of a relationship, right? The bedrock of the relationship. The fact that we respect each other, the fact that we are willing to communicate, we were willing to debate, to compromise, and then committed to the solution, right? So we had that as what is common among us. Differences, quite a bit, from the way we work, the way we think. Zilan is very, she's very articulate, that's very thorough. She is tenacious in chasing after solutions or solving issues, very broad. I am a lot different. I'm more like a monkey, I guess. I jump from here to there. I'm much more reactive, and sometimes, when I got a problem, the minute I fix it, I'm done, I move on, instead of go back and check and making sure to ensure that everything's fine. So we have quite a bit of difference. So that's a challenge from that side, right? We are that much different. But in the end, we'll get, if you're willing to work it out, it'll work out. So.
Yeah, we could relate that to our relationship too. I think I'm more the reactive one, just like you are, and then Ansung is more like his sister. He's more the analytical one.
So that's in the family, I guess.
Yeah, that's the family genes. So I'm going to skip the next one because I already know the answer to that one. So reminiscing about the 40 years of your marriage, can you remember what was the most challenging time in your relationship?
Yeah. I say that we don't have a period of time that's really challenging to us. I think we have episodes that we are really troubling, concerning, but we're willing to work those issues out. These episodes can be very intense discussion, argument among us, between the two of us, but in the end we work stuff out. We really didn't let things fester out for too long. When we had an issues, one issues, two issues, whatever, we will stay, we will talk through, we'll try to find a common ground for as long as it took. And it can take, I remember one time, so over 30 hours of straight wanting to chop each other's out. But in the end, we said, here's what we can go forward with. And so that keeping this period to be a very short episode and not something that drag out for weeks and months.
I see. And when you said when you guys have episodes, I would assume that would be like, could be personal or something you guys both have work, that you guys have disagreements, and I know you both are interested, I mean, you both are board members of the Sunflower Mission, so I guess all of those encompasses of any kind of differences that y'all may have, right?
Yeah. Again, when we have differences, we have to get back to the fundamentals. You know, sometimes, and this may be true with other couples as well, when we get into an argument, a lot of times it's not over big things, it's over little things. And we feel like the other person is exerting control or just being plain hard-nosed to piss you off, right? So that could be something that triggers.
Mhm.
And then when it triggers an argument, it can drag on. But hopefully we'll take a step back and say, really, is this really important?
Yeah, you're totally right about that part. So in your opinion, has the meaning of being a good wife changed when you were first married until now? When she was a good wife back then, like before, I guess when you guys were still a young age, and then when she went through the trial when she has the 2 boys, and then now that the boys are all grown up, and then that she's more like, she's always considered as a wife and a mother. So has that meaning changed since the beginning you have met and you both were married until now? And if so, how has it changed?
Well, I got attracted to Silouan when I took her out at one time in Houston, and I realized then that Silouan is not really a typical Vietnamese girl, or at least the one that I knew back then. So she's quite different. She's really challenging, she's fun, she's adventurous, she's mischievous, pull tricks on people, that kind of thing. So I didn't expect her to be a traditional girl. I didn't expect her to be home, stay home cooking and washing and, or maybe the old traditional type, right?
I understand.
None of that anymore, but back then, even back then, that was not what I expect a wife to be. So, so that allows us to get past a lot of different things. And then we start to navigate around during the course of our marriage. We tend to navigate through things that we do better and leave what we don't do well to the other. And it worked out great because she handles a lot of things that, my God, I will probably make a mess out of, right? So that goes, the relationship expands over time. The roles and responsibility kind of shifted. And now I'm retired. I need to take back some of the work so I can unload her a little bit.
Now, going through some good time and also going through some bad of time too, what was the best part of your marriage that you remember so far, you and Keelan?
No, we have best parts all throughout the time we were married. And, you know, I can say that Silouan is somewhat unpredictable in terms of for you to try to figure it out and put her on the spot, say that this is, or define her, right? When I first met her and got a chance to talk and look into her eyes, I said, I fell in love with her eyes because I think there's a lot of things behind there, or in there, that I really tried to find out. And as I go through the years, that's more true than ever. Is, you know, she continues to surprise you with things. So that's the growing process. And as you mentioned, we went through a lot. We start out, we both work a lot, we both travel a lot. So all of that involved learning and adjusting to make things work. And then when Dan was born, that certainly added a whole complexity to the relationship, and we made it work again through compromising, through sharing, and not so much of that's your job and that's my job.
I see.
So, and we continue to now.
From your point of view, I know you both have accomplished a lot through your work and through your devoted time with Sunflower Mission, but as a couple, I guess that you have answered this question too. As a couple, I was going to ask you what is the most accomplished thing you have accomplished as a couple, but I think throughout the interview so far, you have mentioned your compatibility and that you both are understanding and supportive of each other, and that you don't define each other's role as you the wife or you the husband or you the mom or the dad. You guys just kind of work together, interrelated. And to me, I feel like that's probably answered this question is what is your most accomplished thing as a couple? Or is there anything more that you want to add to that?
Well, first of all, let me maybe clarify a little bit. We are not that compatible. we do have quite a bit of difference in the way we work, the way we talk, the way we think. So I think one of the accomplishment is we were able to get past that. Right?
I see.
We didn't let that be the one that's really driving us apart, because it could have very easily done that. Now, me as I, through the course of our 40 years of marriage, I'm really very happy to see how Ceylon has grown from a student to a new engineer through the rank at TI, through the rank of others, and how she has grown professionally, how she has grown mature as a person. Philip Hanford, that word didn't come out right. But anyway, every aspect of her life, she had made a significant improvement from where, or grown from where she was when we first met. So that's really something that I'm very happy to see. And I don't know if I contribute to that at all, but at least I would get to go along for the ride.
And I think you contributed a lot because I know for every woman, every man, there's always had to be that support system. I think you were her pillar, even though you don't think you are, but I believe you are, or else, she wasn't able to have the opportunity at the time, to dedicate all the accomplishment that she has. Well, so you're the true pillar too, so you deserve some credit.
Thank you. Maybe a tiny little credit. I'm not going to take much.
So I know you both have been very successful as mom and dad, as parents, and also as successful as a couple. Now your two boys, they're all grown men, and I'm pretty sure eventually they're gonna have, their own significant others and their wife, and they're gonna get married. What would your advices be for the two boys or your two sons?
Well, I think the fundamental that they need to have with a partner, they have to agree on what their beliefs are. As a person, belief in life and belief in relationship. What is going to be the fundamental? What is the foundation for the relationship? And willing to articulate it and willing to commit to it. And whenever time that they get into a challenging period, go back to the fundamental, and just don't let the paint on the house be the one that breaks you apart.
Good advices. Throughout your years, our age defines how we handle disagreements with other half at this point in your age, when you both have fights and you both have made up, and I'm repeating myself this question again because I did remember you answered this question already. You guys would just spend through the whole time and just talk about the problem, and you guys don't pass through the problem. Good. So we're going to disregard the question because you have answered already. So although I know you both are retired and that your life might not be as hectic as it used to be, and I know Yulong is somewhat retired but not really retired, and I know you guys still have a lot of time spent with each other. What are some of the things or moments that you guys do when you do have that time? How do you guys show appreciation for each other? How do you guys spend your time?
So, since retiring, I spend a lot of time doing labor work, right? Not really, not very challenging work. I need to get to the point where I need to get into a little more intellectual work. Silan is engaged into every aspect of her life, from professionally to socially. She has a lot of time to spend with other people who sought her advice. She continued to support families of my end and families on her end, and so on. So she stays very busy. When we get time with each other, again, so maybe I'll take this opportunity to say, I'm not a very communicative type of person. I grunt maybe a lot more than I talk. And so I don't spend enough time verbally to say what I feel. I need to do that more. I need to let Sila know I'm very lucky to be married to her. She has been my, she support me every aspect of the way, right? And be the financier, be the planner, be the caretaker of this, problem solving of that. So I just want to take this opportunity to tell her that, thank you for being my wife, my love, in my life.
Oh, that's sweet.
And, I'm not going to ever be the most romantic guys in the world, but it's I need to do a little bit more verbally.
Don't worry, you're not the only one, and Son's the other one too. He's not that romantic either. So when you both are married, I know you have touched on this too. As a couple, what kind of boundaries do you guys set for your marriage? Like, I guess when, okay, I know you mentioned respect for each other. Is there anything else that you want to add to that, or is there anything that you think that should be set so that you know that this marriage will work?
Well, I think, again, you go back to fundamentals, right? If you already established what do you consider to be the bedrock of your relationship, and what the guardrail is. Let's say if you agree that you will respect each other, and that has got to be the bedrock. So when you get into a relationship, and at times it can get very heated argument, and you're about to say something really, really mean to the other, do you really want to go there? Or is it really worth it to go there? It might be just take a minute to think about it and say, okay, I will turn it the heat down just a tad.
Good advice. Good advice, good thinking. So here's a lighter question for you, just to think of a song or movie. Which one do you think is best defines your relationship? Or what is so significant about that movie or that song that you could think of represents you both?
I don't know if we share a song that really, we never talk about which song that really defines. And I don't even remember if we ever play a song during a wedding. So that was the time that we get married. It's not what we people do now. So I don't think we have a song we like. I think Silan liked the song "Endless Love" that we're playing in the video. I think that's what we aspire to be. It's a long, everlasting relationship. And I also chose a song that, I love the lyric. I love, again, in a similar way, something that keep the romance going. No movies.
No movies. Also, well, if that's the case, then so what kind of movies do you guys like to watch together? Do you guys do that? I know me and Son, we have different tastes in movies. So he has his own TV, I have my own. But yeah, when we get together, we have to watch some kind of some kind of chick flicks, which he doesn't
Yeah.
like. So, is there a movie that you guys like to watch together?
Well, we like legal drama.
Okay.
Court case is
Okay.
something in the spy type of movie, but then we also have action movie that we really like,
Okay.
and then long drawn out Korean kung fu series.
Okay. Just some movies on Netflix, huh? So now we just had my next question was, what's the best part of Married to Geelong? That was one of my very last questions I have for you. Besides, you
Well-
love her so much and you fell in love with her.
Yeah, I think we talked about all of that. I think what something that I have not brought up is I'm grateful for the two boys.
Mm.
It's part of the relationship, and for who they are and what they have become.
Mhm.
And I hope they continue to stay that path and be successful and be useful not only to themselves, to their family, but to society.
Mhm. So now, of course, it's gonna be a little while, but do you have any plans for when your 50th anniversary?
I will hopefully from now to then
Mhm.
stay in good health, stay in good
Mhm.
mind, good spirit,
Okay.
and then at that point we'll do something that's hopefully take all three of those dimensions into the planning
Okay.
celebration.
It sounds like a plan, huh? 10 more years. Well, I hope you many, many more years to come, Tung, you know. And with this concludes our interview, and we just like to say thank you again for our time with you. And Sung and I and everybody in this family, and our whole family and your side of the family, all wish you many, 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 many more years with you on.
Thank you very
Mhm.
much. Thank you to the family for adopting us and accepting the two of us. Even though to either side of the family, in the beginning was like a thorn in people's side.
Yes.
And then to you and Son for taking the time to really putting this video together and take the time to record me
Mhm.
sharing my thoughts on our marriage.
Well,
So thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, another